We're live.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sharon Hoffman. I'm here to guide us to our wisdom.
And my name is Chris. I'm an emotional intelligence coach here to help you understand your emotions in easy, intuitive, common sense ways so that you can find the happiness that you deserve in life. And this
Well,
is Happy and Wise.
welcome to Happy and Wise. Yeah. We've been doing this for a few months now, right, Chris? Like we
Y-
have logged a bunch of live streams under our belts.
yes. I don't remember when it was, but it's been at least 4 months, maybe
Yeah,
even 5 or 6. I don't know. But definitely four since we started going on a weekly Thursday.
right. Right. That's right. We were doing a bunch of different times and then we settled on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And here we are. And today we have a big announcement that this is the last co-hosted live stream in this format. We're going to be doing the dual live stream on my Facebook and on your YouTube channel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
big
so
shift, big
it,
shift. What's
it's
behind it?
yeah. So, and this is what happens sometimes. And I, there was, we talked in the beginning about doing this as long as it felt really, really right. And it always
Mhm.
has. And I just think you're a stellar human being.
Hmm.
And we met on Clubhouse, and this has been phenomenal. And then, like a few days ago, this is all very fresh for me. A few days
Hmm.
ago, I just had something come into my conscious awareness that I needed a shift in this in my life, and I wasn't sure what that meant
Hmm.
or why. And so I just kind of sat with it. And then I went walking in the woods as I do every morning. And that's often where I just sort of commune with wisdom itself, with the wisest part of myself, with all sorts of beings that are in the unseen realm, and just ask for guidance and support. And so it just took a few minutes and I just got clarity. And that's what I'm always looking for, is clarity, right?
Mhm.
I believe in acting once clarity is there and waiting for that. It's like I was in this little incubator for
Mm.
a couple days, just a little incubator of, there's a shift afoot in my life.
Mm.
And so then I got clarity that, yeah, I'm in this little cocoon phase right now,
Mhm.
and I really want to finish the book I'm writing. I have a few books in the hopper, but at least the first one, get that done and sort of cocoon my energy a little bit. And
Mm.
so then I got clear. As much as I think the world of you and this live stream and reaching people the way we do, it just felt time to put a pause on it or just finish it in this form for
Mhm.
now. And, I have to thank you, Chris, because when I shared that with you, you only came back to me with huge loving energy and support. And I'm
Mm.
so thankful to you for that response.
Hmm. You're welcome. Wow. Yeah. I'm so glad you shared it. I'm so glad you were so open. There's so many things about this that I feel like is worth mentioning because we talk about this all the time and we coach people on this, like
Right.
how is it that you listen to your heart? How is it that you speak your truth? How
Yeah.
do you follow that intuitive knowing and wisdom that you have? And I think you did such a beautiful job, like uh, communicating with yourself and then sharing that in a very open way with me. And it was kind of like I got the message. Literally, I learned about this yesterday, so this is very fresh for. It's fresh for you. It's very fresh for me as
Yeah,
well.
that's when I got clarity yesterday morning in the woods. And I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you shared it with me, and my initial reaction was there was this like I get this slight like, oh damn, that's kind of a bummer because
Mhm.
I enjoy this too. Like I
Yeah.
really enjoy these conversations, whether they were in Clubhouse or these live streams. They were very like to me that they're just really special, really we dive deep and it feels very authentic and very real and very insightful. And I'm going to miss having someone to like bounce these kind of ideas in this way off of. who thinks so much like I do and who kind of taps into the universe in such a similar way to the way that I do. But but then I always have this. It kind of reminds me of when my friends Max and Jen moved from LA to Connecticut, and there was that initial like, oh damn, that's a bummer. And then it was almost like an immediate afterwards of like, but this is what their heart is calling for, and so I support it. And this felt the same with you. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a bummer, but at the same time, I only want to do things if they're fun for each of us. And yeah, you like you said, we talked about this before we ever started collaborating. We said as long as it's
Yeah.
fun and as long as it works for us and as long as it's something that we're both enjoying, then we'll do it. And as soon as it's not that for either one of us, then that's time to put a pin in it. And
Right.
so yeah, sometimes in our life journey, I think we get these moments of clarity that allow us um, to jump on different trains. And it's kind of, I'm very interested and very curious and so supportive and excited to hear where your cocoon phase ends up bringing you.
Thank you very much for that. That's so meaningful to me to have that support. And this is why I've enjoyed every minute with you, is
Mm,
because this is who you are. It's not putting on an act, it is who you are. And I
mm,
could feel that on Clubhouse when we met. Your energy is just so clear and radiant. And so that's why the gravitational pull was there. And I'm super thankful to you for getting me to go beyond Clubhouse and come into these other forums where now we're into
mm,
video. And I was a little, oh gosh, am I ready for that? And yes. And I feel
mhm.
like maybe that's true for you too. Is that right?
That's a mutual thing because I
Yeah.
had done a couple YouTube videos, but I had never gone live to talk in like without the safety of like an edit, like the idea of just going live and being real and just talking to someone or to talking to people in this kind of format. And I was really nervous about the idea of doing it. And so I didn't until started talking about, oh, what should we do together? Like, what
Yeah.
kind of thing could we work together on? And it wasn't even clear in the very beginning what we would even do. We kind of like bounced
Right.
those ideas back and forth. And the idea of doing a video live stream kind of spoke to us and felt fun. And that, when that happened, that made what used to be like nervous for me, like what used to kind of scare me, the idea of, oh, I could do this kind of similar to how you got into Clubhouse, how you get into Clubhouse by inviting some of your friends to like start making that comfortable, that experience in the beginning comfortable.
Yes.
That's what this felt like to me. It's like knowing that I had someone like you that I can go back and forth with, and we could share this space in a way that I know it's effortless to talk to you. It's
Yeah.
just that made this not only comfortable but really exciting to do, which got us then both out of our shell in that way, not by pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone, but by finding that like, oh my god, that idea felt so good, we couldn't not do it, we could not try it.
Right. And I think now for both of us, the training wheels are off, right? And so
Hmm.
it's gonna be amazing to see what happens next. I mean, I feel like I'm just as excited for you as I am for me. There's
Mm,
there's this unknown. So sometimes, I mean, this is what happens to me often, is I'll get clarity about one thing, but I don't really know where it's leading me, and that's how I feel now. I have
hmm.
clarity about one thing, and I'm a big believer in trusting and following that because it'll lead to the next thing, and those are sort of the breadcrumbs, right, of
Yeah.
following an inspired idea. But I will tell you this, is that after I got that clarity, I was thinking back to the time I wasn't here and you had Claire on as a guest. And I
Mm.
was like, "Oh my god, he's a natural. You're gonna be, like, so great, whatever you do, but you could just have on guests or whatever you want, just you, and, I mean, you've got this,
Yes,
right?"
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like I don't know. I just so everyone knows, I don't know, just sort of like similar to what you were saying. Like I don't know what my plan is and I honestly haven't thought too much about it. I know I want to keep doing it. I know I want to keep being active. And I spoke to Claire yesterday about this actually, and I was asking, and she was mentioning like, this was such a great start for you and Sharon to like jump into this, and it kind of gave you a little bit of a momentum that I should keep riding that. I should keep doing things. I should keep putting things out as much as I can on a regular basis like we're doing now. So I plan to stay and continue doing live streams with anyone watching, and kind of go from there. I might start doing more YouTube videos too, separately, not live streams, but we'll
Yeah.
see. I mean, kind of the sky is the limit, and the future is exciting. And
Yes.
yeah, but I would love to drop into. By the way, hi Yanni, welcome. Thank you
Yay,
for
hello.
being here. Um, I want to talk about um, the idea of this concept of listening to yourself, and actually, how do you do that? What does it feel like? What is it that we're looking for? And then how do you have the courage or the whatever it is that allows you to follow that feeling? And maybe we can use this as such a great example because it's change, it's shift, and
Yes,
it's kind of jarring in a way because it's very different, like,
it is.
but but it's such a great example of how we're trying to live our life, and how we're trying to teach other people to live their lives too, which is following their heart, even if something is no longer serving us in the way that it used to, or no longer appealing to us, or something else is now grabbing our attention and grabbing our heart and calling us in a way that makes a train that we might currently be on not the right train anymore.
Right, because I could have just as easily talked myself out of this, because I could have said, "Well, listen, it doesn't take that much time." This could be have been my brain overriding to say,
Right.
"It doesn't take that much time out of your day. You can write the rest of the time." And so then that's getting caught up in the headspace. This came from a really different place.
Mm,
It took me getting really quiet with myself and deeply listening. And let me tell you, I spent a huge part of my life not knowing that existed, so not doing that at
mm,
all. I only made decisions up here, and sometimes I would, write it out on paper. Does it make sense? And I was only figuring it out up in my head. And I, over years, just started focusing to move the energy down into my heart and my gut and really listen.
mm,
At one point, this was years ago, I decided I really wanted to hear that little whisper that I often overrode, because when I would look back, oh, that little whisper was real information, because I really needed that thing that came into my thoughts to bring with me. For instance, they were started out in little ways,
mm,
my sort of inner knowing
mm,
coming forward about things that didn't make sense to me, right? Just like in a way this doesn't make sense.
mm.
It's not about making sense. It's a
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
about getting clarity from a place of deep resonance from within.
Hmm.
And so I was not clear for a few days. And this is the thing where I think a lot of us shortchange ourselves, is when we're unclear and we force a decision because we just don't want to sit in the uncomfortable unknowing. I've gotten used to over time knowing that that's a really potent place to sit.
Mm,
That place of not knowing there's something going on. I don't know what it is. No clarity has come, but
mhm.
being willing to be uncomfortable in that unknowing, knowing that that's clarity will come. And so this was one of the essential steps for me. Does that ring true for you?
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, when you said it doesn't make sense, and I want to say, Yanni's asking, you two aren't going to be doing lives here
Oh,
together anymore. Yeah, we sort of introed with that, but yeah, Sharon is. How would you say this, Sharon? You're following your heart to other things. I
I
think
got
is.
clarity to discontinue this for now. It's not to say, Chris, you're gonna be, one of my people, and
I know. Same.
there's
Same.
stuff that's gonna happen. I don't know what it
Yes.
is, but yes, in this format, in this way, I just got clarity yesterday morning, Yoni, that that I need to focus on stuff that I'm doing that is more like, I don't know, in my little, cave to just have
Hmm.
really focused energy right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and something that you said that really hit me was the idea that it might not make sense to our brain.
Right.
Something might be very, like, jarring, very different, very, like, how does that even, and I'm the logical guy, but sometimes
Yeah.
things don't make logical sense, but it feels right. It just feels like the thing to
That's it.
do.
So what do you call that? Because I know you are oriented around logical things. So how do you describe that in logical terms?
I guess I would say that it's that idea of you always want to connect to your heart with your mind. And if your
Mm,
heart is speaking something else, even if the mind is like logically thinking in one way, if the heart is disconnected, then there's not a connection there.
right.
So ultimately go with the feeling. It overrides everything and it tells you where your mind should move towards. So I'm so glad that you have the awareness to do that, that you have the courage to be able to express that and move with that energy when you feel it, because I totally do believe that the universe has certain cool paths that are opening up and lighting us up, and sometimes even, and I know you mentioned this before, you said this is like an hour a week, and it doesn't we don't spend a ton of time having to
No,
prepare for it. It's
no.
not, like, this is very, in fact, we kind of love the magic of it being sort of improvised and on the spot, and like, the magic of that comes out of the in the moment.
That's right.
But yeah, there's something about, like, your, I don't know, feeling like you want to go in a different direction, and knowing that even though this doesn't take up a lot of energy, it's still taking up energy. It's still,
Yeah.
you're having to commit on a certain day of the week to do this. And sometimes totally understand how, even just mentally knowing, like, oh, tomorrow I have a live stream at 7 or whatever, to me, like, there's something about that blocks our mind off in certain ways and kind of makes us feel a little, like, not constricted, but that we have things set aside that we
Mm,
have to dedicate our time and energy to. And if you have certain projects, creative or personal or otherwise, that feel like you want to give the space to, then it makes total sense that even something like this might not fit that new, like, structure that you want for yourself, or that new plan that you have for yourself.
right, right, yep, and Sakina's saying hi. Hi,
Hi,
Sakina.
Sakina.
Great to
Welcome.
have you back. Sakina and Yoni, man, you're just the loyal, audience. Love
I,
that.
I
Yeah,
love I
love
love them
having you
joining.
here.
Yes.
So I wanted to say this other add-on piece about the clarity, right, is that I this is what I do sometimes. I think we all get to build our customized set of tools that works for us. So what works for me may not work for you or the next person, right? But
Hmm.
this is a beauty of looking at it as a big playground where we get to experiment and find the tools that work for us. So one of mine is being immersed in nature. That helps me get clarity.
Hmm.
So I when I was on my walk in the woods, I knew that was a point at which to sort of mull this over. And the way I like to do that sometimes, which is what I did yesterday, is I turn on my voice memo app in my phone
Hmm.
and I start sort of talking and communing with just like wisdom out there.
Oh,
And
I love
here's
it.
what I'm wanting to know. And then whatever information I feel like is coming through, then I'll say that. So it's sort of like a dialogue.
I love that.
And yeah, while I was doing that, I mean, it only took probably 5 minutes. During that, it was like, "Oh, this is it, and that's it." And the clarity came by
Mm.
doing that. So I find talking while walking in nature really powerful, and I love recording it because then I listen to it again
Mm.
afterwards. "Oh, yeah, that's right." And other stuff came through too about where I feel called in my work. So this
Mm.
was one piece of that. So it's an interesting process
I
to
do that too, but I
You
don't
do?
record
Yeah,
it. I just talk to myself a lot, whether it's at home or on bike rides, not
yeah,
very loud. Like, I do it kind of under my breath in a way, but or at night when people can't really know. But
right,
I find it so helpful for me to, like, verbally hear or audially hear my thoughts kind of coming out and allowing that to just flow, like, flow out. There's something about it leaving my body that feels very, like,
yeah.
I don't know, helpful versus like keeping all of it inside.
That's it, right? It's just letting it express, and it's you don't even know sometimes, right, until it comes out what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And now here's what I love about the voice memo tool for anybody who has an iPhone. Do you have an iPhone?
Hmm.
Yeah, is that now it's got a transcription feature. So if you
Oh,
wanna
cool.
just pop the transcription into your computer or whatever to read what you
Oh,
said.
that's helpful.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I used to use the Otter app, which has a transcription tool built in.
You know what? You're blowing my mind because when I'm on my bike rides, I get so much clarity. And again, maybe it's being outside. There's something about like, or maybe it's being in motion. I don't know. But I also get a lot of clarity in not quite in nature. I'm not really in nature,
You're in
but
motion.
but I'm kind of in nature. I
Yeah,
mean, I see trees around me all over the place. I see the sky, the beautiful sky. So I'm in touch with nature in that way.
yeah.
And I get these almost every bike ride, I get these bits of clarity that pop in, and I take out my notes app and I voice text myself the
Oh,
notes. But of course, that there's some mistakes when they do
yeah,
that I look back later, I'm like, I don't even know what I was trying to say there or what I really meant there. This sounds like a way better system because then I can just type out what I'm saying maybe in a more accurate way. But also, if I needed to, I could always just go back into the audio message and hear that
yeah.
again.
Mhm.
Wow, that's great. Okay, I'm going to start doing that.
Little tools, right? So if that works for you, fabulous. I love sharing these little tricks that we use to access our inner knowing. It can be really powerful. And I like what you said earlier about connecting, the head to the heart and to the gut, which when
Mhm.
all three of those are in connection with each other, we can really receive the information. And some people are, if your
Oh,
mind gets frazzled when you go with the heart and or the gut. Yeah, but the
but the
mind is,
mind always comes around on
yeah,
time and says,
the
"Oh
mind
yeah, this makes sense."
is
Sometimes the mind is
slower.
behind
Yeah,
on the equation. Yeah.
that's what I find. It's always behind for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but it might work differently for different people. It's because that clarity that comes sometimes doesn't make sense to my mind. I'm
Mhm.
like, "Well, I can't make sense of that." And then it'll take a while for that to happen. It's a
Right.
little bit what happened when I told you I got in that car accident
Mhm.
last month. I got in this car accident where in the moment it was quite shocking and my car ended up totaled and I got another car. It was a 9-car pileup on the freeway. But equally shocking was that I didn't get a scratch on me and it was just a gentle tap from the side. So I had no whiplash, no nothing. My airbags didn't even deploy. And I I I've been so grateful that things came out the way they did, and
Mhm.
nobody in that 9-car pileup got injured as far as I know, which
It's
is like
amazing. Yeah.
miraculous, right?
Yeah.
So I'm super grateful that I came out unscathed completely, but it took my mind really a few days to make sense of that. I was
Mm.
really discombobulated. How is it I'm in this huge scene for an hour on the freeway with fire engines and tow trucks and all these cop cars and everything, and I walk away fine,
Right.
and my mind couldn't process it, but
Mm.
I knew, wow, this is
Yeah.
I'm grateful. So it
Sure.
took a while for the mind to catch up. How does that happen?
Yeah, I know, and sometimes it is like I love the concept of like I think our heart knows way before our mind does, and in some fact, sometimes our mind never catches up if we don't let it, if we don't give it the space to check in with our heart. This is the idea of learning to listen to ourselves and what our heart is actually saying. Sakina, Yanni's asking Sakina. I know you want to come up. We'll have you up in a few minutes.
Yep,
Yoni's asking, will you be still doing your clubhouse rooms?
absolutely. That's the game plan. I'm gonna keep going with the clubhouse rooms. Yeah, 3 years and going strong. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m., every Saturday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard. So I'm staying with that. So yeah, it's interesting how that works, right? Why one and not the other? I have no idea.
Let your heart figure that stuff
Yeah,
out. So we don't here's the other thing, we don't have to know all of it. We don't have to understand quite why. All you have to know, like for me, like how I do it is like, and you mentioned this, you kind of like touched on this earlier, but even if you don't know, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Like
right.
it you we're going by feeling. And that's kind of what we're trying to share with everyone. Like go by the feeling, even if you don't quite know all the answers, or even if you don't know quite why you might want to be doing something or not wanting to be doing
Yeah,
something, like the feeling is the thing to follow. And I know that seems a little crazy or a little like it's
absolutely.
invisible because you're not, we can't like there's nothing really to back it up sometimes except for I don't know why I just feel this way, and there's something very important about doing that. But I will say, what is the Sharon? A question to you, like, how
Yeah,
do you know when the feeling is enough to trust, or how do you know when the feeling is the way to go on something versus like,
yeah.
something else?
Yeah, for me, and I love what you're saying, Yoni, it's a head, heart, gut trinity. It's those 3 that are all lined up. For me, I get just this knowing that it's all of a sudden, it's like ka-chunk, like things are clicked
Mm,
into place. It's this absolute knowing that doesn't come from having figured anything out. It all of a
mhm,
sudden it comes, and it's sort of I I'm jumping up and down inside when it's a yes, and I get
mhm,
a heaviness in my gut
mm,
when it's a no. So those are some of the ways it registers in my body. So I have a lot of body signals. I think we all do.
mm,
Things that are going in our body really are messages that are connected to this head, heart, gut trinity. I mean, all of that takes place within our this vessel, our form, our bodies, and so that's where I get a lot of information. How about
mm.
you?
Yeah, I feel like that's it too. It's like this sense of I want to feel like for me it's like I don't want to feel yeses and nos are equal in terms of like what the answer might be. I want to do this or I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Like that could be equally
Yes.
correct,
Right.
right?
Right.
And in fact, like that's the beauty of what we're saying now is like even your choice to for this to be your last live stream in this format, like that is technically a no. I'm done for now with this, but it's still the right move, right? So
Oh,
like cuz it feels the right way. But there's also something that I love that you are incorporating, which is what I also use, which is it's not trying to just stop something or get away from something or end
wow.
something. It's
Wow.
moving to something else. And there's
Mhm.
something about what you're talking about. I know you've been prioritizing your writing for a while. You have multiple books in the works. This is important to you. It's a project I know has been important to you for a very long time. You've shared some of that with me. Like
Mhm.
there's the idea that you want to put more energy into that, and you know consciously that you want to put more of your time and energy into that.
Right.
That and that is in part why you're making this choice to of change
Mhm.
and this shift. I
Mhm.
think that's a key because it's not just about saying no to something, it's also about
Right.
saying inviting something else in and in moving towards something else that makes more sense, that makes
Yeah.
something else be a no.
Yeah, right, and I think I like how you're explaining that because I think for me also there is with that clarity comes a feeling of sort of spaciousness around it. Ah, yes, I have this breathing room, and I never felt constricted around this at all, but sometimes that it when something is a really big no for me, I will feel that, like, there's some stress
Mm,
or constriction in it, so that's never been the case here. It's more
mhm,
that, there's just this yeah, expanded state of being is also how I know that
mhm,
something is I'm moving in the right direction if I follow
mhm.
that inner yes towards something or the no that says let's close this out in this form
Yeah.
for now. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Before we invite Sakina on,
Yeah.
actually, Sakina, I'll send you the link, Sakina, so that you can
Come on.
yeah,
In our
come on
little
up.
waiting area. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, there was something else I wanted to mention about this, just this
Okay.
idea. I forgot what it was, but I'm sure it'll come to me.
Okay, can I
Um,
say one thing then
yeah,
while you're
please. Maybe it'll
here?
jumpstart me.
Just that, I think it's really important to say because this has come up with different people in numerous conversations lately. I think this question is out there for
Hmm.
people.
Mm,
There's so much talk about finding one's purpose and what do you do or what do you do next,
mm,
and that we don't that's something if you really want to figure it out, you can try to do that or what it is, that's great, but you don't have to know.
Right.
I'm a firm believer that we don't have to know to live a life that's on purpose. We don't have to know like what that big P is of purpose, the ultimate thing that's going to help us make meaning in our lives. Living on purpose to me is listening this inner dialogue is
Yeah.
listening to that on a day-to-day basis about everything, not
Mm.
just the big things, but I believe if every one of us follows the little things, we stay in touch with our truth about everything, about the little
Mm.
things that will lead us like breadcrumbs, to the big things.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
then we'll be fully engaged with our wise self, with our truth,
Mhm.
and living a more joyful existence. And whenever we're doing that, we're lined up in that way.
Mhm.
Now there's an unfolding that happens that feels really effortless. So we don't have to figure out the purpose. For
Right.
people who are like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay. You don't have to
You
know.
don't have to. I would even challenge that if you think that it's about finding your purpose, maybe redefine your purpose. But what if your purpose is to follow your heart in every moment as much as you
Yes.
can? Because that means the ultimate thing is going to change, but it's supposed to change. Like your purpose now might be very different than your purpose 6 months from now, or 2 years from now, or 6 years from now, or whatever. And so allow the purpose to be following your heart and listening to yourself and doing what makes you happy and doing what you enjoy as much as you can. And if that's your purpose, you'll hit all the other you'll find all the things that you're
That's
meant to
right.
find, and you'll enjoy the life you're meant to live and the dreams that you have. But doing that, I did think of the other thing that I
Okay.
was going to mention before
Let's hear it.
Sakina joins us.
Okay.
Um, which is sometimes we're in each other's lives in almost like this like I imagine it like hopping on a little ride and then hopping out. Like sometimes we jump on and jump off, and sometimes we join each other and team up in certain ways for periods of time for that is mutually beneficial in its own way. And
Right.
then circumstances change, or someone's desires change, or someone's goals change, or whatever, and then it's, well, let's appreciate the time that we had and what we were able to make, and then support and encourage each other on whatever the next leg is as we hop on and off the train, to whatever our next train is. And I am very open-minded in the future about what could happen from here. You and I are probably going to cross paths in the future.
I have no doubt that
Yeah,
will be,
yeah.
and in fact, I did wanna name one thing that's around what you're saying here, and
Mm,
Sakina, you're then we're gonna bring you up.
yeah.
But I was percolating on this, thinking we were gonna have this conversation, and here's this key thing. I believe this is just a key thing in life, is to understand that there is no competition. So
Right.
now you and
Yeah.
I are occupying a similar space in terms of the kinds of teachings that we want those who want them to have.
This
And
was our
yet
first stream. Do you realize that? I think our first live stream together was that
there is no
there
competition.
is no competition.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Full
right.
circle, Sharon.
Full circle. Yeah. And so I have never felt, nor do I now, any ounce of competition with
No.
you. And I've never felt that coming from you. And that's why you're so magnanimous, with me
Mm,
living my truth and you honoring that. And
mhm.
that's such a beautiful thing. And so I'm so grateful to you, Chris,
Thank
because,
you. Same.
in this world of ours, a lot of people buy into the myth that everything's a competition.
Right,
Right?
sure.
And
Yeah.
so to drop into this safety, free, loving space of knowing that there is no competition.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people out there,
Yes.
who wanna hear different voices. So,
Yes.
and we're each
Yes.
unique in
Yes.
how we share this information. So,
Mhm.
yeah, just wanna
And it
acknowledge that.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. I think the reason like the response being that way is because I'm happy with myself. Like when we're happy with ourselves, truly, like genuinely, I feel content and happy
Yeah.
and satisfied with my life and where it's going, and I'm excited for my goals and dreams. It allows me to only want what would make other people happy in their own life for their dreams. Like all I want is for you to enjoy your life and continue living your dream in whatever ways you
Mhm.
want. And if that means changing things up, even if it means kind of shaking up my world a little,
Mhm.
I accept that and appreciate that, because to me it's like, well, I would only want you to be doing this if this was a priority that that meant this was the dream for you. But if something else is, then I want you to be doing that other thing, and I support you in doing that other thing. And there's just something about that. Like, I feel like, just generally, as we talk to anyone who might be watching, if you find your happiness, if you genuinely are happy with yourself, you tend to just support other people in life following their dreams, and because you just want them to be happy. Like, if you're happy, you just want other people to be happy.
That is that expanded state where
Hmm.
there's room for everything. We are limitless. And Yoni's putting up a really nice quote. Life has no pre-purposed purpose. We get out of life what we put in. Our purpose evolves rather than a thing to find. Yes.
I like
So,
that.
right? So well said. And there's this thing people get caught up in. It's the popular thing, workshops and everything. I got to find my purpose.
Hmm.
So,
It's an illusion. It's an
it's a yeah,
illusion.
take a
Yeah.
load off if you're
Yes.
caught up in
Yes.
that, and breathe deeply into the fact that you don't have to know to be like your biggest success in life. And I define success by living into one's joy and what gives them
Hmm.
being in alignment with their truth, living
Hmm.
from that place, leading with the wisest part of ourselves.
Yes.
So that's how I define
Yeah. Yeah. You
success.
can't go wrong with that. Okay. Should we bring on Sakina? Sakina,
Oh,
you've been patient.
absolutely. Yes. Thank you for your patience and coming up with us once again, Sakina.
Thank you. There was a question I had. I don't know if you guys have. I really wanted to come at the time when it starts. At 7, but I couldn't. So I was having my dinner. I
Oh,
was
that's
trying to like
okay. Well,
hurry up.
thanks for
Yeah, it's
yeah, thanks for
okay.
being here now. I did see your question, but I don't have it pulled up on my phone. Can you re-ask what you were wondering about?
Yes, there's a question here I want to mention to you, Chris. There's actually two questions. Maybe one of them you can like. I'll just tell you the important one. Which one is really important to me.
Whatever's
Uh,
most active. What are you curious about right now in this moment?
Well, I'm really curious about this question. The first
Yeah.
one, I will tell you. I'll tell you both. I'll tell you both.
Yeah, just
Okay, the
tell.
first
Yeah,
one.
sure.
Okay, sorry. Um, what I just want to know. What do you think about this message, Chris? You must believe in your dreams, but you also have to be a little bit realistic because you don't want to be disappointed if it doesn't happen someday. And this
Oh, that's
question is And sorry, there's another question. And this question, is it possible that you may never achieve your dreams in life, no matter how hard you try? No matter how bad you want them, and no matter how hard you try? And the other one
mm,
is, I'll tell you after.
okay. These are related. Sharon, you have thoughts on this before I
Yeah,
jump
but I
in?
think Sakina is directing them toward you, right,
Oh,
Sakina?
okay. All right.
Yes,
You
My
start,
initial.
and I'll see if I have anything to add to what you.
Okay. Okay.
because you're
Um.
all about
Uh.
emotions, Chris, so it really
Yeah.
resonates with me. Sorry.
Okay. Cool.
Go
Well.
ahead.
I would say the. Give me the gist of the first question one more time. What was it? Oh, that you. Oh, that you have to be a little realistic. And a lot of people say this. You have to be a bit realistic about your dreams. Here's what my thoughts on that are. I think it's important to dream as big as possible because it allows your mind to really expand in this way that when you're being realistic, you're limit if you're being realistic, you're really limiting. Like, imagine like your mind is like shooting, like beams out of it. If you're trying to be realistic, your beams like stop right here. It like jumps out of you and stops you here. But if you're being super open-minded about where you could possibly go, your mind is able to wander in these cool new areas where you can unlock certain ideas that you may never think about if you're thinking small or you're thinking realistically. I do,
Mm.
it's not guaranteed that we're going to get exactly where we want to go when we want it to happen in the way it's going to that we want it to happen. Nothing in life is guaranteed like that. However, if you're thinking big and following the big dream path, you're going to discover some real magic on your journey that will take you to either something on the level of what you're thinking for yourself in your dreams, or even better than you could have possibly imagined. Sharon, do you have any add-on? Oh,
So,
sorry, Sakina, you have any thoughts on that?
yeah, just one thought. So then it could be on the same level of what you wanted. in terms of in terms of getting what you want, like there's like a step towards that, but then it could it be also be really really big
Of course. Like,
as
yes, of
well.
course. So many
Yeah.
people have that, right? Where they thought it was gonna, they were gonna, they thought they wanted to date one person and they ended up finding that the love of their life, far outdid whatever the person they had in their mind, or the job that they had in their mind. They ended up with a job that was beyond their expectations for what they thought for themselves. That happens all the time. And so being open to receiving anything that you're looking for that's on par with what you want or better, I think is a very uh, helpful approach mentally and emotionally for us to use as we're moving towards our dreams. Sharon?
Thank you. And I'll tell you the other question afterwards when Sharon's
Okay.
done. Because you're
Well,
done.
yeah, I agree with what Chris is saying, Sakina. I don't resonate with that quote at all. And here's why.
Why?
I think not only that we are limitless, just like Chris is saying, like dream wildly fantastic big dreams. Here's the trick. And maybe this is what's meant by the quote, but that's not what they're saying. Is the trick, I think, is to not get hung up on expecting outcomes. When we do that, we get our hopes, we tie our happiness. Like when something happens that's good that we wanted, we're so great. And then when something doesn't happen that we wanted, we're so low. And so now we have an external point of reference that we're tying our happiness to, or our definition of success, even. And so I like better the reference point coming back to the self is like what brings me joy in this moment, so that if you're listening deeply and the answer you get is I want to smell a rose, oh beautiful. Now you're living fully. That's success to me. You're living fully in alignment in that moment. And you may have this big dream that you're crafting for yourself, and that's beautiful, and keep it alive. But
Mhm.
if you can keep the internal point of reference, I get to define my happiness. It's not based on what does or doesn't happen externally. This is what I think people get caught up in the world. Because, as Chris was saying, the thing that you might be led to when you're just feeling good every day
Mhm.
might be so much better than what you could have possibly dreamt up for yourself.
Mhm.
So when we stay open and receptive, that's where the magic happens.
Mhm.
I understand, but I hear this. I hear that message because I know I heard that message before because it's like it's by chance, by luck, you get stuff that you
Mhm.
want in life. That's the thing, and and
You believe that it's
s-
by chance or luck?
on some level, yeah,
Because it's not what we're saying.
because
It's not what we're saying.
right, but like with my coach that I told
Yes.
you about, I think that was by luck. I would have never met her if I didn't go to the other coach.
Mhm.
But what got you to
that I
go to
had.
the other
My
coach?
I just researched her and I saw her website and I thought of contacting her. There was another coach I was gonna have, but I decided to go with
What
this
made
other
you
one.
decide to go with this other one?
The other one was because of what I wanted, because I told her I wanted to work with
So
Seth
do you see,
Farley
you made
one
that
day. And so
decision. Something pulled you in that direction. So that's not luck, is it? You see,
okay. But the coach that's better than her, the one that's the 1 to 4 um 1 to 4 cast rate
yeah.
for her, like she gets out of four auditions she gets one. She books one every time. So I think that was by luck, right? Could
I
I be
think it's
right?
more that your path, just like Chris has talked about getting on Conan, right? He didn't get the first
Right.
Conan job, and then it led him to a job that led him back to Conan and a better job. So the path isn't always a direct one. So you got to the coach you wanted. Do you see? You created that. You got in front of the coach that got you ultimately to the one where you get something out of every 4 auditions. So you ultimately got there.
Yeah, and she's in union. That's the reason why my first coach that told me about the one that said that when I told you that I said I want to, I told you that I want to work with something like Barlin one day. She's the one that got me the 1 to 4 auditions that the other coach books because I want to go. I want to become a SAG union
Right
member,
on.
Screen Actors Guild member,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So
I and
so that's the
and
reason
don't,
why.
I guess something I'll jump in here to say is like we're not going, certain things are going to be unexpected surprises, call them surprises, whatever. You get this coach, like that you didn't expect and it kind of came out of the blue. And yes, it can feel random, but my question is, if you defined it as only luck, does that help you? Does that feel good? Do you like, there's something about what, like the idea that you can kind of be in the driver's seat of creating these cool moments with your thoughts, your perspectives, your choices, your actions, how you're leading your life. Like, yeah, there are things there, we're going to run into people that I might run into someone out and about in the community that might be the perfect person to help me with something. But was that luck that I ran into them, or did I get an internal intuitive impulse to go to that place and to like at that specific
Yeah,
time? And I choose to believe that my choices result, even if they're in surprising ways, in really cool things. That was in part my doing. And owning that and understanding that is empowering. Like, what is the more empowering thing to think? And if that is more empowering, go with that, because that's your heart telling you like that's good. When it's empowering, it resonates with you, right? And feeling like everything is just luck, well then what's the point of even trying? Like just allow the luck to even happen or not. But what kind of way to live is that,
Yeah, life isn't as much of
yeah,
a throw of the dice as we think. We can't control other people. We can't control outcomes. We can't control what happens on the planet globally I mean, we can our individual actions, but you know what I'm saying. I
Mm-hmm.
can't wave a magic wand and get rid of climate change
Right.
right now in this moment. But that's not what we're saying. We're saying that each moment when we listen deeply and we're leading from that wisest place, we're in touch with our emotional state, we're following really what feels good. That's those are the
mhm,
clues that we get that it's gonna be a good decision, not something that makes sense that feels bad on the inside. I've
Mm-hmm.
made plenty of decisions that way, right? But something right, this is the thing, when we really tune inward and we make decisions based on that, now we're always moving in the direction of the thing that's gonna bring us joy and perhaps bring our dreams to life. But if that doesn't happen for some reason, that just means something different is in store for us that's so much better, that comes from us being in a joyful state of being. That's the most important thing. I think we're here to be love and to awaken fully to that truth from within. I think that's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
So the more we live into that, the more there's this effortless ease in our lives. And so you're trying for this thing that you really, really want. And you probably are asking yourself, why the hell hasn't it happened yet? I've been doing everything. I'm trying so hard, right? Is that going
mhm.
through your mind?
Well, no, not this. Well, that thing. I'll tell you after. I'll tell you later on. Remember what we talked about, Chris? About before in the
I don't
previous.
remember, sorry, but just tell us what's on your mind.
You
Just
can
tell,
say it
yeah.
now.
You know about that. Remember I told you about that letter I was trying to get to. You know, I will tell you. It's exciting, but I'll tell you later. Like when I know all the
Oh,
details
it's
Oh,
of
still
okay.
in the
what
process
I
actually
of
see.
happening.
something better has
Oh,
Oh,
happened.
okay.
So the negative thing that you're telling about before in your live stream before, where you said that sometimes negative things happen, it's actually a good thing, even though it appears to be
mm,
negative.
We can interpret, yeah.
So that thing, yeah, that thing that happened, that I remember I kept trying
Mm-hmm.
and trying and trying and trying and nothing worked. Well, something better has
Oh,
there you
happened.
cool.
go.
Okay.
I don't I don't know the details. Like I don't know what's gonna happen
But be
next.
open that,
But I
no
don't
matter what
wanna.
happens, even from here, right? Even this is another, letter thing. We don't know, but like keep an open mind. be optimistic. I would say something to go back to the realistic thing, because I feel like that's such a common like
Mhm.
negative and limited. It's
Yeah.
so limiting to think that way. Imagine if any person that you admire, Sakina, that has made made leaps and bounds and has reached superstardom in the way that they do, whether it's a musician, whether it's an actor, whether it's, a voice actor, whatever. Imagine if they were told, be realistic though. Like, don't along their journey, if
Yeah,
they were kept being told, be
I,
realistic.
I've been told that be
I know I,
realistic. Somewhere, from
and I'm
I give
sometime.
telling
that a
you,
big thumbs down.
yeah, and what we're saying is that's such a limiting way of thinking. The
Yeah.
people who make it the furthest are not the ones being realistic. I mean, they're realistic in the sense that they're taking baby steps that feel comfortable to them or that feel good to them, but they're not limiting what they actually want in life by putting these like fake barometers on themselves to be like, I can't think beyond this, I can't dream beyond this, I only can give myself this much wiggle room. It's like that's not how people thrive in the dream life that they want to have.
Actually, you know what? My first coach that got me to the other coach, that one to four auditions. She's the one that told me to be
Mm,
realistic. When I told her that it's not a guarantee.
interesting. And you ended up leaving her.
You
That's Isn't
gotta
that
do this.
interesting?
Yeah, and I ended up believing her. This is when I first started voiceover. I was just researching it at the
Well, you know
time,
what I would say though,
and then she told
Sakina,
me,
like if you can stay non-attached to the outcome, right?
Hmm.
Which if you think about it, this is for any of us. If like you walk into an audition and you're like, "Oh my God, my whole life is riding on this. I've got to get it. I've got to get it." And then you walk in the room
yeah,
clutching and
Nervous.
constricted and nervous, right?
Hmm.
Whereas you're like, "Oh my God, I whatever happens, it's going to be great. I'm just going to give the best audition of my life and I'm going to enjoy the hell out of every minute here." Do you see
Hmm.
how freeing that is? That's like
Right.
I'm not tying my happiness to the outcome. I'm
Yeah.
just giving it my all in the moment and I feel the freedom to just express who I am. So
Hmm.
this is the difference that we're talking about.
Yeah. Imagine
I
how different those two
sorry.
scenarios that Sharon just laid out would be. Like how you would perform in one, being nervous and tight and tense and like super in your head about what they're going to think. And I have to get this role. I have to get this part. I have to be accepted in this. Versus if you go in there being like, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. But I just want to enjoy this audition and
Yeah.
play in this room with these people and see if it's a good fit. Your performance in with those two mindsets are going to be totally different. And what do you think is going to be the one that gets you more likely you're booking the role, you know?
Right.
Yeah, the one where you're more free and you're
Yeah.
not thinking
Yeah.
about the
And you know what?
outcome.
Here's the thing
Yeah.
about that. Let's redefine success. Success, you may defining it as I win that audition. I get the role. Okay. Let's
Mhm.
redefine it. Did I have fun? Did I do the best I could? Right? Was I really present with myself? Okay,
Hmm.
now that's a beautiful way to redefine success. And whether you got it or not, that's incidental then. It doesn't get to define your sense of joy and accomplishment. You
Hmm.
turn it inward. Yes, I felt joyful. Yes, I had a blast. Yes, I gave it my all. That's a win. That's a great day.
Yeah.
Now, that'll be whatever happens, happens with whether I get the call back or not. That's okay. That's gravy. Do you see? This is a mindset
Yeah.
thing.
Hmm.
We have a lot of programming from the culture around how you define success, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah, and also like these big careers you want to do, they would tell you they would if I was you, Chris, and I would want to be on Conan, they would say you got to be realistic, like the person that's helping
Right.
me.
Right.
You got to be realistic like a coach
Right.
or whatever. They would say you got to be
And
So
that,
realistic. But
sorry, Sharon, please.
yeah, it's true.
do
Good
you
point.
do you think though
Sorry, go ahead,
that
Sharon.
that Chris got on Conan with dumb luck? Do you think that's how he got on the show?
Hmm. Well, I know he's gonna say no, but I kind of think yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. You can believe that, but that's only a disservice to you because that's taking your own power away. If you think that everything just happened, what did I randomly just go to show and they just, I don't even know how it would happen just out of luck. There was an element of me intentionally making moves that led me in that way, intentionally getting into talk shows, intentionally talking to people, intentionally like
Yeah.
surrounding myself with positivity and doing what I find fun. All that stuff leads
Awfully
to
big
things.
coincidence from the time you were how old?
Right. Yeah, middle school.
Middle
So yeah.
school. What an awfully big
What
coincidence.
a big
What
coincidence that
dumb
I
luck
would
that
land that.
that from middle school you had this
Yeah.
big dream to be on Conan. How could that be dumb luck? It was
Right.
listening and right, keeping the
Yeah.
dream alive, still being inspired by it, following the breadcrumbs, not getting dejected when
Hmm.
the first Conan job didn't come through, but
Right.
knowing, having an inner knowing, no, I'm still totally inspired by this dream
Yeah.
and I'm going to keep going. So, and then it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And
As if by
Sakina,
magic.
Sakina, let me also give you a story with my friend Claire, who was on this stream a few episodes ago. But she had an audition for an independent movie that she auditioned for, and she didn't get it. It was a rejection, which is very common, as you know, as an actor. It's like very common to get rejected for a role. And she is in this phase now of her career where she's not taking rejections to heart. She knows like some roles she's going to be booked, some roles she's going to be rejected. That's it. And then she doesn't like hold on to it in this way. And they ended up booking somebody else. And then a few months later, it just was not working out with the person that they picked. And guess who reached out to her? The director of that movie reached back out to her and said and asked her if she wanted to be part in the movie, in that role, in the lead role that she was originally auditioned for. This is like 6 months after the fact. So just know, like, it's not about like even a rejection is not doesn't mean that's a permanent rejection. You have to be really open-minded about understanding that life and all these experiences that we have don't mean necessarily what is happening right in front of your eyes. There's a lot of things going on, and your energy affects all of it. And so carry your mindset in a certain way, carry your energy in a certain way, and then watch how reality starts to like click into place for you with all of these different things. And it'll really start surprising you when you take out the element of, oh man, I have to get lucky, or people just get lucky, and start owning the idea that the empowering idea that you have the power to sway your life, not in every little, you don't get to decide and manipulate every little detail, but your energy has real power, your mind has real power, your heart has real power. And if you leave yourself open to that and know that it will guide you towards what you want, you can expect really, really amazing things to happen.
Even if they're different than what you planned for, you know?
Yes, exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. That big thing, if I get that big thing, right? Because it's been planning in terms of all the rejections. Remember the letter, all the rejections. I didn't get anything, any response. But that big thing that's coming out is better. It's because of my coach that the 1 out of 4 auditions, like she books the 1 out of 4, right? Because we have a great relationship. We have a friendship. She's my
And I
best
will
friend.
say, like, don't give yourself credit in that equation too, because how you're interacting with this coach and your closeness and her ability to want to help you, that comes in part with you. Like, if you're not the way you are with her, if you were like a jerk every time you spent time with this person, she wouldn't want to help you. She wouldn't want to do things with you. It's you are also contributing to all of this happening, even if other people are helping you. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I heard about this through Robert Greene. If you heard about
Hmm.
Robert Greene, the author of the 48 Laws of Power,
I
you
do know
know,
him. Yeah.
he's been okay. That's good. I hope you know about him too, Sharon. He's been saying that when you have something in your heart that you really want, follow that. And he talks about people in back in the day for his book Mastery, where he says that it's those people what in terms of what they wanted to achieve in terms of their career, it's them that made it happen,
Yes.
because of their
And notice
excitement
your part.
and their
Notice the part you play in all of these things, because every time you do, you're taking ownership of your ability to make moves and change your life. And don't keep putting it outside of you. Don't keep saying it's because of luck that certain people are getting things. Don't say that you don't have any that nothing you do matters, because then you're just disempowering yourself, and then why even bother?
Yeah. And the other thing I want
Yeah.
to touch on about that, because we're talking about things that are around the entertainment industry, which can feel incredibly cutthroat and competitive, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's really the ultimate thing is not about getting whatever it is you think you want. It's really about being lined up with, the thing you're going for. It really is. And I want to
Mhm.
give you two
Mhm.
examples. One that was lined up, one that wasn't. Is there's a documentary about Mick Jagger called Shine the Light.
Mhm.
And you haven't heard
Heard
it.
of it.
It's really well done by a famous director. And when Mick was 30 and they pulled some archival footage, and the interviewer was asking him, "What do you want to be doing when you're 60?" And he didn't skip a beat. He said, "Exactly what I'm doing now." And then they cut to him at 60 still playing rock and roll. Of course, he's much older now, but he that dream stayed alive in him and he knew it. Okay.
Mhm.
Now there's another movie, a documentary about Amy Winehouse. I don't know if you saw that. I think it's just called
Oh,
Amy.
I,
You
I
saw
saw
it?
it. I
Okay.
saw it.
So in that movie, she's asked, it's before she had made it big, this footage of her. She was asked, "Do you want to be famous?" And she said, "Oh God, no, I would never want that." And
Mhm.
so she knew that she didn't want that, but she catapulted to fame and she crashed and burned right at 27. It
Mhm.
was overwhelming. So I think people get tied to certain things that they think they want, wealth and fame and celebrity, but it's that inner knowing that is a yes or a no. For her, it was a no. For Mick, it was a yes.
Mhm.
Okay. And he went on and he's still playing music and it consumed her. And I think this is a common thing that happens in the industry because people lose that touch point from within, right? And they get sucked up into, well, gosh, I thought I wanted this, and people are relying on me, and everything but what's in their heart at that point.
Mhm.
So it's a sad tale, but it's just to say that the ultimate thing is not what we think we want. It's staying with what is really alive in us, that what truly lights us up. That's the
Mhm.
thing. And nobody can know that except for each of us
Mhm.
individually about ourselves.
And it might change as you go.
It does change, right?
It does change as you
Well,
go.
you had that dream from the time you were like 13 and it didn't change for you, but then it
But
did.
then it did.
Then
But
it
then it
did.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yoni wrote emotional attachments to an outcome leads to, at minimum, slight disappointment. Often it throws a monkey wrench in the
yeah,
process.
yep.
Right. And ultimately, like, what I love about this, what you're saying, this don't attach to the outcome, what Yoni's saying is, like, again, I'll keep stressing, like, keep in mind what kind of headspace you're in. And if something like attaching to an outcome is going to sacrifice, by doing that, you're sacrificing your good headspaces and your connection to your own heart, it's not worth it. Don't allow an outcome needing to happen a certain way or things needing to go a certain way to be the reason that you lose your power internally in your inner world.
Really well said.
Right. Thank you. Can I just please tell you my other question real
Okay, and
quick,
then we're gonna wrap up.
if it's
We're at
okay,
wrap up
very
time, but yeah,
fast.
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Okay. The last question is, um, okay. How do I develop great time management habits to prioritize my time better for the tasks I want to complete in my day? I always struggle with managing my time to get things done pretty often. I have difficulty getting up in the morning at the time I want to get up, so I can have enough time to complete the tasks I want to do. This makes me very frustrated.
Hmm.
Okay.
So both of these questions was from the live stream last week, and I just want to know, Chris, are you still in touch with Conan O'Brien? Because I did send you messages saying, how come you're not with Conan O'Brien anymore? Because to me, I feel that that's kind of a loss. Like, you worked so hard to get to Conan O'Brien to be on his show, right?
Hmm.
And then now you're not with him. So like, why did you let him go? And then I thought maybe there's no connection. like lost of
See,
connection.
See, that's an interesting perspective because you see it as a loss, and I see it as this really cool new chapter for me that I get to. And just like with Sharon and our live stream, I feel like I'm so open-minded and I don't know who my what my next chapter of my career I'm going to run into or collaborate with or play with or how that like our relationships in life and the people that we meet along the way like they don't go away forever even if circumstances change or even if situations change like he Conan finished his talk show and I worked on his show. He doesn't have a talk show right now, right? So like he still does other things, but my journey became and my dream even before that show ended, my dream became I want to teach people the stuff that we're talking about here. That's my newest dream. And I have big plans to do cool things on different podcasts, on different like YouTube channels, on different interviews, whatever. So I plan to share this in very big ways, but I went from wanting to be a supportive player in someone else's machine to wanting to be my own force in the world that allows me to speak in from my heart and speak my truth in a way that isn't just me working behind the scenes for someone. So to me, that change, whereas you see it as a loss, I see it as such a powerful like gain,
Your
such a
evolution.
win.
Yeah.
It's I'm yes. And so but to answer your other
Yeah.
question, which I think was important about time management,
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to come up with your own answers. I think everyone's brain works differently, everyone's body works differently, so you'll find the answers that work for you. Like if you follow your heart, continue enjoying your life, you'll find the books that help you, the podcasts that help you, the videos that help you, and find what resonates and try it out. For me, my favorite thing to do to keep cuz for time management is I'm not good at like scheduling everything out in my day to make sure I
Me
hit all
neither.
that stuff. I miss things and then I get frustrated with myself for missing things and it's not worth it. So for me, what I do is I just pick 3 things at the start of my day and whatever that start of my day is. Sometimes I sleep in more, sometimes I wake up earlier. I choose 3 things that I know by the end of the day, if I do these 3 things, I'm going to feel really good about myself and my progress in my day. And then I just go about my day making sure that I try to do those things. However, I do not punish myself if I don't meet those things because some days I'm just not in the mood to do anything. And then I will allow myself to do none of the things and accept and love myself that I give myself the freedom to even have that. And so I can't lose. And this way, I'm either super productive and I do what I want to do, or I appreciate that I love myself so much and I'm so easy on myself that when I don't get that stuff done, it's okay. And what I found is by approaching life like this, I get the most stuff done. I'm very productive and I've made moves on so many different areas of my life from doing that. Sharon, do you have what's your tips for time management?
Yeah, I would say that we get caught up in this Newtonian sense of time where we're on a 24-hour clock and there aren't enough hours in the day and then
Yeah.
we're spinning, right? And it's been disproven. Newton was wrong. So if you want to look it up, check out Einstein time. We get to really slow down our sense of time and know that there's plenty of time to get everything done in a day. How do we do that? It's getting super present with ourselves. It's just dropping in to that expanded state of being, often through the breath. So, one thought about that is to pick out some really positive videos to play before you go to sleep. They're going to put that positive program in your mind about how you're going to feel the next day refreshed and that there's plenty of time. There's tons of beautiful videos out there, like Wayne Dyer makes a bunch. There's all sorts of people. So when you set your mindset before you go to sleep to something that is now you're going to be programmed in your sleep, where that's a really powerful time, your brain waves change during that time.
Mhm.
Now, when you wake up, you're already going to have a leg up on the day. But to feel that expanded state is what's going to bring me joy in this moment. If you ask yourself that right when you wake up, and let's say I want to have the sun on my face with a cup of coffee and just lounge for half an hour and I want to read my book, do it and really luxuriate in it. So now you're filling yourself up with joy, with an expanded state. And then, oh, yeah, I want to get these 5 things done. And they will just get done throughout the day. And because you will feel this sense of, I have plenty of time, and let it organically unfold. Whenever, we're not getting up on time, we're not getting the stuff done, there's some kind of resistance that's living in us. Why? Because it's not fun. We're taking it seriously. It doesn't feel good. So
Mhm.
if you and people say, oh, I can only do that at the end of the day after I get my work done. So I think the opposite is really powerful. No, drop into that first thing. So you enliven yourself, right? Now you get inspired. Okay, what's next? What next? And
Mhm.
choose the thing that calls out to you. Oh, I feel like making this call now.
Mhm.
Now I'm all
Mhm.
filled up,
Mhm.
right?
Right. For
So
me,
those are my
I love that.
thoughts.
I love that.
those are your thoughts. Well, for me, I have a time management. Like I'm getting help with time management, and I have another teacher that I worked with since 2017. He's still with me now. He's retired, but he's still working with me, and he's helping me out with a lot of things and helping with my schedule because I've been telling him all the time I want to be union, I want to be SAG union, I want to live in Los Angeles one day. That's my dream, and so he's helping me because I hear that every year. He's telling me you've been telling me that every year, so he's helping me with the schedule, and I'm
And
telling
Yoni
him
has a comment. Do you know Yoni Sakina from Clubhouse?
no. Oh no,
Okay.
I didn't meet her actually. Yeah, yeah, she
Yoni's a
came on
gem.
before.
So she's saying, if you want to wake up on time, when it's time to wake up, you will because you want to. I mean, yeah. And if you needed more rest,
Take it.
beautiful. Yeah, take
Take
it.
it.
Take
Take it.
it.
Take it.
Yeah. It's like we tell ourselves we have to have these regimented lives to get everything done. We don't. If we allow ourselves to be in this, just look up Einstein time. Do yourself
Okay.
a favor, get a new perspective on how you can hold time and really have it slow down for you. And now feel there's plenty of it. I don't have to rush around. And
Well,
then maybe
well,
you'll want to get up. Oh, I get to have fun first thing when I wake up.
Yeah. Imagine the beauty. Yes, like I'm with it. Luxuriate, as Yoni says.
Luxuriate.
Uh, yes. Yeah, I feel Sharon, just to sort of tag on to what you're saying,
Yeah.
you're when you're notice Sakina also what and everyone who's watching this, like what Sharon's keeps bringing up like over and over. What's the theme she keeps mentioning, which is asking yourself what feels good in the moment. And notice how that's the answer for time management. It's the answer for how to get your dreams. It's the answer for literally every, like, no matter what question you have, it's asking yourself that and tuning into your heart. And the beauty with like time management, with applying this for that, is if you put yourself in a good headspace to at the start of your day by doing what you enjoy doing and not being hard on yourself and allowing yourself to take rest when you want and to like have slow mornings when you want and to do what you enjoy and do the order that you enjoy. I find that by doing that, the stuff happens invisibly. Like I'll be in flow. Have you heard of being in flow, Sakina? Like the concept of
I've heard of that. Yeah.
you tap into flow state when you're living with your through following your heart. And when I'm in flow state, I could be doing one thing. I have to work on, I want to work on this email, so I work on this email, and then suddenly I want to go out and grab some food. I'll go grab some food. I come back and suddenly I walk in the room and I'm like, oh man, the laundry is free. I should do some laundry. It's right there. And I'll put some music on and that will be the most. And some of these things I get done at the end of the day. I forgot that I had gotten them done because they sort of invisibly just happened in the course of my
Right.
day. And suddenly the closet is filled with like full newly cleaned and folded laundry. And I'm like, I forgot that I even did laundry today because I was in such a like vibe with my music or
Right.
my podcasts or whatever
You
I
made
was
it
listening
fun,
to.
right?
I had fun. It
Yeah.
was like hidden in the fun. All this stuff happens, but
Yeah.
allow that to be how you operate because A, it's more fun, it feels better, and B, like you will take care of things that you actually want to do if you ride the waves, you know?
And there
Okay.
are, sorry, go ahead, Sakina.
I just want to say very quickly is that I hope you get in touch with Conan O'Brien one day. I hope you get in touch with him again so
Okay.
he can help you with your
I'm doing
EQ
fine, but thank
coaching,
you. I appreciate,
and
yeah. Okay,
and
great.
you become
Yeah.
a motivational speaker and you go on TV and you have your own TV
Great.
show and like he
Okay.
can help you with
Wow, you're
You're
everything.
dreaming
dreaming
big
big
for
for me. I
Chris.
like
Yeah,
that.
you're
I
dreaming
like
for
that.
Chris.
And you too, Sharon. You guys can team up, both of you, with Conan O'Brien.
I like your dreams, Sakina. They're really
Yes.
cool.
Yes, yes, yes,
Well,
yes.
I just wanted to add one last thing, Sakina, because you mentioned somebody having a time management system, right? So there are many different ways to manage one's time, and there are many different views on time management systems. And so what I would say about that is whatever your chosen one is, if it really resonates for you, that's the one for you. If you feel like you've
Okay.
got to follow it, but it feels like drudgery, look somewhere else, because you'll find the system that really works for you. So we're just telling you one perspective, right? There are many perspectives. Ultimately, it's just
Chris, you're welcome to have fun doing my laundry. Oh, thanks,
but
Yoni.
yeah,
Yeah.
really, what calls out to you? I love that. Yeah, that's hilarious. You know what I'm saying, Sakina, about that? It's like, what's your inner
Yeah, and
response
if it
when you
doesn't
check
work out
out
with
a
me,
time? What's that?
and I agree with that one. I
Yeah.
agree with that one. I'm trying out this one right now because he's putting up times. So like when I get up, like not him putting in when I get up, me telling him what I'm doing throughout the day, and then he's putting in the times, and like I'm trying to like get it on time, like do this thing on time, do this other thing on time, so I can do my auditions. Like
And does
after
that
like
feel good to you? Does that feel good to you?
well, right now I'm off the balance right now.
Yeah.
I've
So you don't
started
know.
on
You try it.
it was on Tuesday I started.
Okay.
No, Tuesday he gave me the list, and we didn't finish it, but I know what my list was. Like I remember the schedule because it was on Excel, right? So I tried them for Wednesday, Thursday. Obviously, my time was off. My schedule was off because I had two meetings. So I had the meeting today in which I told you about that exciting thing. I had a meeting with him and my voiceover coach with the 1 to 4 auditions, and him
Great.
right with the schedule. He's been helping me for a very long time with my
It sounds
voiceover
like you have a
stuff.
great support team, Zakina, that you've put
Yeah.
together in all these different areas. So keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
And as Sharon says, along the way, just keep asking yourself, does this feel good to me? And if it works and it resonates and it feels good, keep doing it. And anything that doesn't, you just shift it. No, try something else, try a
Yeah.
new system, try a new thing until you find the thing that really feels good. And you'll know as you do it, you'll know if this system just bumps you every day and it's kind of like, man, this is a grind, or I just am not, I'm feeling a lot of resistance towards this. I don't enjoy this, and you're 3 or 4 days into it, then like, okay, then it's a different system that you need, and you're out to find that. So there are so many different books and like podcasters and whatever talking about time management. So just follow your heart, and you'll find the ones that resonate with you, and then just go with that. But we got to wrap up because we are so over time today.
Yes,
Okay,
but it's
I
been a pleasure. It's always fun talking to you, Sakina, and you by extension, Yoni, whether you're up here or you're in the chat. Really great just to be communing with you all. I loved every minute. So
th-
thank
thank
you.
thank you guys, and I will let them know if it's not working out for me. I'll let them know, and then we'll have
Okay.
a
All
different
right.
time management system.
All right. Thanks,
Sakina,
Sakina.
that's awesome. You keep
Okay.
doing you. I
All right.
love it. Yeah.
See you next
Thank
time,
you guys.
Sakina.
See you
Bye,
next.
Sakina.
Oh, okay. Sharon, we got to
Yes.
wrap up. This is
Okay.
our last live stream together. Um, any final thoughts before we go?
Just, I find it astounding that you and I have never met in live in person,
Right,
because I
right.
just feel like such affinity for you. I really do, and
Mm.
it's surprising to me that we haven't actually met in person. We've talked
It
on the
doesn't
phone.
feel like we
Just
haven't.
doesn't
Yeah,
feel like it at all. It's so weird.
yeah.
Okay, so here's what I wanna say. I don't know what the future holds, but I hope we get to meet in person at some point.
Me too.
Maybe
Me
it's to
too.
do
Me
something
too.
together, But, yeah, I would love that. Yeah.
If I'm ever in the neighborhood of Northern California, I will absolutely let you know.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Please. Yeah.
and obviously want to be kept posted about all of your journey, and of course, like I'm still planning to do these live streams. I don't know if I'll
Oh,
continue. I
good.
mean, we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
You're always obviously welcome. We would love
Thank
to
you.
like jump back on whenever, and I'll try to do the same for Clubhouse rooms too. Like I
Thank you.
know
I would
you're
love
still doing
that.
those.
Yeah, ping
Uh,
me anytime and I'll do the same. We can
okay,
always
great.
continue to extend those invitations to each other when inspiration hits. I love
Yes.
that. So,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
this is just this format is
Yes.
shifting. It's not,
Yes. What is the saying? This is not goodbye. This is something else. I don't
see you
remember the saying.
around. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
It's
definitely
not goodbye. It's see you around. Yeah.
it's
It's see
to
you
definitely
later.
see you around. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I had so much fun with this. Who knows what
Me
is in
too.
store for either of us,
Yeah.
but it's very exciting because changes like this, the other thing, the other beauty about them is yes, it's kind of a shift. Yes, it's a little jarring. Yes, it's like what is going on? But at the same time, there's an excitement in what it could be. Like what is going to be like so what is going to end up being your path, what's going to end up being my path, and how is everything going to unfold now that this new shift is now happening, because it sort of opens up new kind of doors for each of us. It gives you more time
Yeah.
and energy to focus on different creatives that you've been sort of wanting to focus more heavily on. It gives me a chance to like, show ending uh like that's and honestly,
Your audio got really garbled all of a sudden.
oh,
Yeah. And you're frozen on my screen.
oh no.
Barely. And you're frozen. I don't know what happened.
Okay, then we should just wrap up. I
Oh, there
for
we go.
doing this. Oh, am I back?
You're back.
Ugh,
The
okay.
the video is degraded, but the audio is back.
We were so close, Sharon. We were so close to a perfect final episode.
It's still perfect. I'm still
Okay.
gonna say it's, a beautiful, perfect
Okay.
time,
Yeah.
and really, it's just brings me joy. So yeah, thank you. And I'm excited for what unfolds for each of us as well. So
Hmm.
yeah, we're gonna keep the dialogue going and see where our paths cross in the future, because they are sure to. That's how I
Oh,
feel.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And how should we where can people find you? Let's do our little like where
Oh yeah.
people can find us.
Okay. People can find me at SharonHoffmanLiving.com. You can
Hmm.
find out all of my offerings. I do speaking, I do private support calls, and I write articles and things. And soon you will see a book. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a free 10-minute guided visualization that you can get if you scroll down on the homepage. So find me there. My topic is really reaching people who want this information about how to live, to harness our most spectacular life by design. It's
Mm,
not an accident. It's not dumb luck.
it's not.
We get to design it by learning these wisdom principles about how life really works, which is really different than how most of us, I'm including myself, have been taught. So,
Hmm.
and where can people
Oh,
find?
wait,
Oh,
wait.
oh,
Oh,
sorry, and Clubhouse. Gosh, I'm on Clubhouse twice a week. People from over 35 countries have tuned in over the 3 years. I've been on every Wednesday at 6 p.m. and every Saturday at 8:30 a.m. So you can catch me there next this Saturday at 8:30 a.m. Thank you and Chris as well, who pops in from time to time.
yes. And
Yeah.
you could find me on chrisnewth.com. I have an EQ newsletter. If you want to raise your emotional intelligence, I'm telling you, it's the key to life. If you understand what your emotions are, what they're telling you, you can navigate your life more smoothly. You can get in touch with yourself. You can start
Mm.
believing in yourself. You can start to find more happiness. You can find more movement and progress towards your goals and dreams. Our emotions are affecting every piece and area of our life. So I I plead with you, pay attention to them, like listen to them. They are the answers you're looking for. And I give really simple little tips on how you can listen better to yourself. So until then, I guess we'll sign off with kind of the heart of what this live stream started with, which is listen to yourself. And just like Sharon is doing, and just like I'm doing, follow your heart. And when you feel like something is right, move in those directions. Even if it might not make total sense, it's still the best move to make, is to allow yourself the 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 ability to follow your heart and what it's actually telling you and where you want to go, because that's what life is all about at the end of the day.
That's right. So in one format or another, we'll be back.
Yes, yes, we will. All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Thanks,
Loved it.
Sharon.
Okay. Thank you,
Bye,
Chris.
guys.